Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, guys, the Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster. Fabulous Friday. I'm Nur Hasim, member of the Singapore International Dynamic Speaker Club. It is my pleasure to serve as your Toastmaster this meeting. The topic our meeting is character. It is noun. According to Cambridge Dictionary, character is particular combination of qualities in person or place that make them different from other. For example, one of the joys of being a parent is watching the child character develop. The second definition is the quality of being determined and able to deal with the difficult situation. For example, in the sentence, she has such strength of character. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Luther King Jr. encouraged his followers not judge people by their appearance, but by the content of their character. A person's characters, good or bad, can stimulate others to greatness or discourage them from trying. We are in December, the last month of this year. We will be the end of the year and we will face the new year. Maybe we have new dream, we have new realization, and of course, we need to evaluate what we do in 11 months. Before we start our session in this meeting, I invite our president to give opening speech in this meeting. Please offer to you, Mr. President Willie Low.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. When I was growing up, my dad described someone he did business with a real character. My mom described someone she was doing business with as very ambitious. I eventually met the guy and met the woman and realized why they were so colorful and have a big personality. There was essential untrustworthy. I felt a certain sense of no inspiration, and my parents never asked me to do anything. But I listened and draw my own conclusion over times. For this, I learned a very important lesson for an early, or you can possess character. Sometimes these two traits don't go hand in hand. It's okay. I learned to listen to behavior. The foreign stage is to be at the mercy of, shall we say, unique personality and perhaps a certain moral ability thanks to great culture happening. Goose Point brand. I have friends who fall into this category as my friends grew up. They attribute a certain lack of restraint, a colorful use of language, and a definition by charming describability. I am still friends with them. They just do not happen to be on my short list where it's life and death, or do or die leadership decision. Why this person is a character in the sense that they are different for some of us. colorful in their approach to life, and memorable, maybe not a leader. I appreciate the good quality in this person, but I would not recommend to lead a company. Just not that kind of person we can count on to do the right thing in a crowd. They are characters in the theater sense of word. Leader, on the other hand, can be character-based leader. Person who character is a positive and defined series of traits or what I think of as a leader. In my views, leaders can be made or more skills and character attributes that draw people to them, but people are made by luck, opportunity, or policy are not so fortunate. They have to count education, good mentor, broad experience, and willing to learn for people they lead. Character is more than intelligence, equality, ethics, judgment, self-awareness, empathy, or emotional health. The most important to remember is that character is inborn, but leadership characteristic can be learned. Being a person who chooses to learn, who seek to take on the characteristic of a leader, don't be afraid to lead with your heart. Don't be the person who sit in their office while everyone else is a competent loser. Take the next step. Life is way too short. Lead now. Fellow Toastmaster and friends. In Toastmaster, character is respect, integrity, and self-elite. So what's yours? Over back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, President Willie. Yes, character is very important in for personal life, in community, and of course in our organization. Authentic leader lead from strong personal moral value that can have profound effect on our organization. We need to understand how character affects our organization and how it can attract top performer. Character determine our performance, our achievement, of course, our life in the whole. Ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce our team that will serve in this meeting. The first is Alicia Lee, Alicia Chia, not Alicia Lee, Alicia Chia. She is a double topic master. She is happy-go-lucky person who enjoys life, aims to live in the moment, create memories, and enjoy the journey more than destination. Her hobbies are playing the saxophone, digital photography, sport, and being a tourist within my own country. And in the COVID-19 era, tourists in own country is the best choice. Please, Alicia, introduce your daddy.
Oh, introduce myself, is it?
No, please speak your daddy.
Oh, okay. Tonight I'll be the table topic master and I'll be leading on the team of character. So I have with me 15 items for you guys to choose. I hope people will volunteer before they get volunteered. So may I have the first volunteer? Sure, I see one volunteer, Shatsna. Would you like to pick a number from 1 to 15?
Give me the hardest one, I would suggest.
There's no hardest one. Oh, you want really hard one? Okay.
It's because I love taking challenging topics.
All right. Okay. I will give you number 4.
Okay.
Number 4 is called procrastination.
Procrastination.
Okay, procrastination is a bad personality trait, right? But it could be a
meaning
good
of procrastination?
Yeah, procrastination. Normally, people call it a bad personality trait. I would like to know from you how you can view it as a good personality trait, even though it's bad. So you have 2.5 seconds to share with us your views on procrastination.
Procrastination always makes me smile. Wonder why? Because I was in a session at a Toastmasters meeting in India 2 months back, and I was given the topic procrastination, and me confidently speaking about it without knowing what the topic was. I assumed that procrastination was just guessing, and I was confidently delivering speech for 2 minutes and 30 seconds without knowing the content. And the best thing what happened there was I got the best TT speaker too. So people, procrastination simply means postponing. Our life will never be stagnated in one place, but instead our life will be accelerating. No matter what happens, no matter who you are, life moves on. No matter what you do, time keeps moving. And she will be ready to signal me with green as I thought. Life will always be moving forward. And when we procrastinate, that means postponed. Trust me, people, we think we might go backward. But no, every good thing has a bad thing because a coin has 2 sides. So maybe when we procrastinate things, we will get something better. For example, if I had thought not to do a speech today, maybe if I made a speech tomorrow, it would have been a better one because my face would be brighter, I would say. So life is always not what we think it is. Life is not always what we assume it to be, but it is a puzzle full of building blocks. And procrastination at times would shatter the puzzle into pieces, but times it would help us to form a better structure. Because all we can do is imagine, all what we can do is dream, and for hope, a better future. Back to you, Table Topic Master. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shasna, for that very good attempt on procrastination. In fact, if you have this bad trait of procrastination, it means that you work well under pressure. You may like to put things off, and then at the last minute, right? I'm sure some of you are like that. I'm also like that. You can work under pressure. You can, even though there's a stress of deadline. And here's the good thing about procrastinators. They have learned to work this way and they work very well. And there are people who are simply work under stress and you put along, overthink everything, you don't have the time. So you procrastinate, you sit down, focus, and after a night of no sleep, it's finished and everything is good. So let's have the next volunteer. Niharika, all right. Yeah. Can you pick a number from 1 to 15?
8.
8, all right. You have this topic of messiness. Messiness is a bad personality trait, but it could be good. So how would you say it's good trait?
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master. How many of you are messy in your life? Any show of hands, please? Thank you. Thank you for that. Each and every one of us has got one or the other habit or one or the other way where we create a lot of messiness in our life. And to be honest, sometimes it turns out to be at the end when we get a proper result, we feel messiness has actually made us learn something. So, what is that? Let me give you an example or a story where I actually became a perfect person from a messy person. It was in the year 2019, that is last year. I was into third year of my engineering. I'm in final year of my engineering now here in India. And third year completion of engineering, at the end of third year, it is like you are with your job placements, you're with your academics, there are a lot of pressures that you keep experiencing. And my life was messy because I was very bad at arranging things and prioritizing the work. At the end, having a lot of mess in my hands and failing at each and every aspect, I understood that each and every point that I failed because I did not prioritize my thing and I messed up. I realized that each and every messy part of my life had a learning out of it. I learned what not to do. And in this way, learning each and every aspect from the failures or the mess that I had in my life, finally, some or the other way, the result of getting a job I got, even though it was after 1 year of my friends getting placed and me being the laziest and failed person who was unable to get job at the right time. Finally, at the end, I ended up getting a job. So it of the 1 year of my journey of messing up my life, not prioritizing things, has actually made me from being a stupid or messy person to a perfect person today that I am in. So thank you so much. That is my experience, and I hope even you guys will have a similar experiences like this where you have learned something out of it. So it's not a bad personality trait. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Niharika, for sharing with us how messiness can get you from a bad personality trait to a good personality trait. In fact, messiness shows that you are highly creative. I'm also highly creative. My mess is organized mess. I know where my things are, even though they're messy. Well, for clutter, a lot of people can't tolerate it, especially those OCL or what call it, very neat person. But messiness is perceived by others as lazy and lack of productivity, which is not really true. When you think of people like Einstein, Steve Jobs, Mark Twain, even Mark Zuckerberg, they had extremely cluttered workplaces, and yet they're very successful people. So it shows that clutterness does show that the person has highly creative person. And we don't have to feel bad about being too messy, but it's all right to clean our mess once in a while so that we can reorientate ourselves. All right. Next up, can we have the next volunteer, please?
Oh,
all right, Joan. All right, Joan. Can you pick a number from 1 to 15?
7.
7. Okay, Joan, you got the good personality to describe. I give you the word reliability. It's one of a good character that is highly underrated. So Joan, share with us how the good character reliability relates to you. Over to you.
President, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I don't know how I can emphasize on the importance of reliability. It's so important to be reliable. For example, today, I'm privileged to be the language evaluator, as well as I'm going to make a speech. If I wouldn't have shown up today to either be a language evaluator or a speaker, imagine. That would have kind of affected my credibility, as well as affected trust, and people wouldn't have trusted me anymore. Or for example, you attend any Toastmasters club and you sign up, and at the last moment you tell them, oh, I'm not going to speak today because I have so and so work. I'm not going to be an evaluator today because I have so much and so much work. So how about just organizing your time and telling beforehand or 2 or 3 days before that, okay, I'm not going to show up. But if you don't show up and you sign up, and if you don't show up at the last minute, you imagine your own, are you a reliable person? People are not going to trust you. So friends, when you sign up for a speech or when you sign up for an evaluation, as an evaluator, show up. If you cannot show up, tell the president or the VPE at least 2 days beforehand that you cannot show up. Otherwise, it shows that you're not a reliable person and people cannot trust you anymore. So with this, I would say that reliability is a very, very important character trait in order to gain trust from people in either in Toastmasters or at workplace. Thank you. And back to you, VP.
Thank you, Joan, for sharing us how important reliability is an underrated good character that a lot of people overlook it. There are lots of good characters out there, right, that we need to look at. But I think reliability is still very important. What Joan said was correct. If you cannot make it for a meeting, you must inform the VPE or president a few days earlier, so the VPE or president can look for another replacement. Or better still, if you are such a reliable person, you find a replacement. That is even good. And the point is, being reliable creates a lot of goodwill and people trust you more. And when they trust you more, you get more credibility and you get more respect. And of course, you have a better image. This is all very good for your own personal life in terms of organization, work, and as well as home. So let us have the next volunteer. Okay, Angela. Angela has volunteered. Angela, can you pick a number from 1 to 15?
What's gone or what's available? Tell me what's available.
Okay, I just give you one.
Yes.
All right, I have selected for you a bad personality trait called egotism. Egotism. So over to you, Angela. Egotism means you're extremely confident or rather egoistic.
Fellow Toastmasters and very welcome guests. All things are relative. To most people's mother, they are perfect. There is a famous saying, there's only one perfect child, but every mother's got it. So every mother would tell you that their own child or grandchild is clever. And if their grandchild comes home and says, I did well, the grandmother will say, yes, darling, you were wonderful. On the other hand, the next door neighbor who thinks their child is the best is not going to be pleased. And this is what happens when you're in a competitive situation. And also if you're in a competitive society. Now, what happens if somebody is very shy? They may not think that somebody else is boastful or shows too much ego, because they may step back and say, well, no, you go ahead, after you, because they really don't want to speak at all. And they're not bothered by the person with the big ego. On the other hand, if everybody wants to speak and somebody always jumps in first, then they were saying, oh, he's got such a big ego, he always pushes himself forward. So it's all relative to the situation you're in. And emotional intelligence is working out where other people are and what applies to the situation. Now, my feeling is that if you go over time, perhaps you've got too much ego. So I'll try not to do that, and I'll back out now. Back to you, Topics Master.
Thank you, Angela, for sharing with us about egotism. Actually, egotism just shows that you are extremely confident. So in my experience, I have relatives, for instance, like aunties, that in every occasion likes to say that child is very good at this and good at that. Actually, the child is not so good. But the reason why they like to boast about it is to help the child have some confidence of his self-worth. So that is not a bad thing. Anyway, in this world, there are very few people that are over egoistic. Very few. Not everyone is like that. Right? Let us have the next volunteer. Thomas? Or Kanan? Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Thomas,
What's up?
can I give you a topic? How about this bad personality trait of shyness? Do you think shyness can be a good personality trait? Over to you, Thomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, as much as I want to attempt this table topic, I'm feeling really shy now. So I'm not sure whether should I continue speaking because I am, feeling the anxiety creeping up, feeling a little bit embarrassing right now. But ladies and gentlemen, everything starts from our mind itself. And sometimes we may be the shyest person in the room itself. But if we were truly want to make a breakthrough, if we were to truly want to become better, it is up to us to step out. Shyness doesn't mean we don't speak up. Shyness doesn't mean we don't fight for our rights. Shyness doesn't mean we do not know who we are. Shyness just means we are conservative in our opinions, we are conservative in our point of view. But when it comes to the situation, for example, being volunteered for table topics, that is time to remove the mask of shyness and put the confidence and conviction to truly deliver the content and message across. And this applies in many areas of our life. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us, we are shy to a certain extent. It's only very shy or less shy. But regardless of what it is, in a personal setting or a professional setting itself, when it is time to voice our rights, when it's time to voice our opinions, when it is time to voice for what is right, then ladies and gentlemen, I will encourage you to do it. Because it doesn't matter if you are shy, it only matters whether are you willing to take that step out. When you are willing to take that step out, it is only when people will truly respect your rights itself. So ladies and gentlemen, as far as I know, as difficult as it may be, as challenging and tough as the situation may be, as much as we want to hide in the corner right now, as much as I want to off the computer screen right now because everyone is looking at me, don't do it. Because you only have one chance to make that impact, to inspire, to motivate everyone with your message and live life to the fullest. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Thomas, for giving us such an elaborate definition of shyness. Well, shyness actually equivocates to you are able to accomplish a great deal alone. Well, shy people are actually introverted individuals. They have difficulty engaging with strangers in a large group, but even though it may be seen as a flaw, they are incredibly reflective and are the ones who come up with great solutions. They like to work alone and they can accomplish a great deal. So just come out of your shell and voice your opinion, just like what Thomas said. You can be productive and thoughtful and creative and highly demanded in the workplace. So can we have the last volunteer before we...
I must say that today I'm reflective because my face very oily.
Okay, thank you for that creative thought. Indeed, you are the ultimate shy person. Can we have the last volunteer? How about Kanan?
I can be there, yeah.
All right, Kanan, let me give you a topic.
Okay.
Right, how about the bad personality of distractibility? Distractibility. Easily distracted.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guest. Bad personality with destructive nature. I have seen that in my own Toastmaster club. Fellow Toastmasters, I am a president of an online club where people meet. We had an incident. At that time, we did not have password. We welcomed everyone. This is before Zoom asked us to have a password. I think that was in sometime early August or September. There was a guest who joined our Toastmaster club and immediately started playing some of the messages from Hitler and some of the bad messages. The idea is that person continued to speak, disrupting our Toastmaster meeting. These type of nature are very happy to spoil everything. They cannot create anything, but they want to spoil whatever good is happening. I think they get pleasure out of disrupting or with spoiling something. They get pleasure out of it. Fellow Toastmasters, we can't do anything about it. It is like when we have a problem, when we are driving straight, and when we have a stop, or when we have a problem, when the tree is fall or something like that, we take a curve and we go around. So we cannot challenge that, because sometimes what happens is it is better. It is like throwing a stone on a mud. It is going to splash on us only. It is not going to do anything else. So it is better for us to move away from that. That is when we started using the password and we started sharing our online meetings link without having the password. So fellow Toastmasters, be aware of that, and we will make sure that the destructive personalities will not be succeeded. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kanan, for sharing a personal story, a personal truth of distractibility. Well, people with this kind of personality trait are easily distractible, and they always like to jump from one subject to another. In fact, in the past, our club also had some personalities, some people who had this kind of personality distractibility. Well, research has shown that these people are above average intelligence, and they allow a lot of things into their brain. So they can come up with unique solution to a problem. So life is never dull for that person. So it's not a really bad thing to have this kind of distractibility personality as well. So I think we have come to the end of table topic. I hope everyone has learned that characters, there are good and bad characters or bad personality. It's not the end of the world if you have a bad personality. You can work on the good side of it. And you have good characters, continue to develop the good characters, because it will bring you to a higher level. So back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Hey, before I hand over the Toastmaster of the day, can I have the timers report for the table topic speakers?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. All the speakers were within the allocated time of 1 minute and 2.5 minutes. I've posted the individual timing in the chat. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. Can everyone vote for the best table topic speaker? We've given you 2 minutes to vote, after which we will go for a 10-minute break. We've got 50% voted. So just another, the figures have gone up to 85%. So we need another 15%. And we're almost done. Right, there's one more person who hasn't voted. Please vote. Please exercise your vote.
One vote is meaningful.
Yes. I'm giving the chance for you to put in your vote. But anyway, when 2 minutes is up, we will end the voting. the poll. There's 70 seconds left. Or rather, 20 seconds left. All right, we have ended the polling, and I hand over to our Toastmaster of the day.
Finish. Double topic master. Thank you, Toastmaster Alicia and timer Lee Buckley. Before we enter the next segment, prepared speech segment, we will break about 10 minutes. Please drink your coffee. Please eat your snack. And we'll be back at 10.
All right.
Yeah, 10. Thank you. Welcome back to SGI Club. Hello, Toastmaster. Before we continue our session, I will introduce Grammarian, John, and timer, Lee Buckley, and I invite the first evaluator. He is Thomas Chen. He will evaluate Angela Lunsbury. Thomas Chen, passion TM, international trainer and speaker. Please, Thomas Chen, to introduce the objective of the prepared speech from Angela Lunsbury.
All right, so the project purpose statement for Angela's speech, it will be on understanding your communication style. So two purpose statements. Firstly, the purpose of this project is for the member to learn about the different communication styles and identify his or her primary style. Secondly, the purpose of this speech is for the member to share about the impact of his or her style on others. All the best and have fun, Angela.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Angela Lunsbury. Angela is an author of 20 books, including 2 on quotation, which you can see on the Amazon and lulu.com. She has a travel blog with Angela Lunsbury, and would like you to give her feedback on Dress of the Dayang Ella on blogger.com, which is started off for dynamic leadership. She has completed presentation mastery. Engaging humor is now at the end of the dynamic leadership. Angela, you have time 5 to 7 minutes. Your title is Keep It Simple and Make It Special. Over to you, Angela Lunsbury.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Ahmad, fellow Toastmasters and very welcome guests. What is my style? Those of you who don't know me will be interested to know that I have spent most of my life as a journalist and a teacher, and both of these professions require you to keep it simple. because I was once told when I trained as a journalist that the average reading age of the average reader is equivalent to a 12-year-old child. And you have to write down to that age group in order to be understood by everybody reading the newspaper. When I write and edit, I frequently have to rewrite what I have written to make it simple, because one's thoughts flow along, and I'm very creative. I can talk on any subject for unlimited time, but not in an organized way. I'm creative. Therefore, I have to work very hard at simplifying things. The modern style is to write in a simple fashion. If you read Charles Dickens or any book from 100 years ago, you will see a sentence that goes 2/3 of the way down the page with commas and brackets, and you have to concentrate very hard and read aloud and think to follow it. Modern people don't have the patience for that. They like short sentences. So when I write, I think always of the way I was taught to read as a child. Jack and Jill went up the hill as a nursery rhyme. It's very simple. X did Y. Who did what? They did that. Now, what's of interest to you is how my style and your style relate. In Toastmasters, we're taught a particular kind of style for evaluation. First of all, you praise somebody, then you make suggestions for how they should improve, and then you praise them again. Now, this is a peculiarity of Toastmasters, but it's also the way a lot of people say you should work. For example, writing a letter of complaint to a company. So you might say, for example, if you were complaining about something that arrived damaged, your company has delivered your goods with wonderful speed. I was very impressed. The goods look absolutely wonderful. You can imagine how disappointed I was that the teapot spout had broken, because you'd obviously produced such a beautiful item, and I'm sure that you will be disappointed to hear the carrier broke the goods, and so on and so forth. This is the modern style of complaint. Now, having been a president, I've had to deal with two types of people. There are the new members who are shy and are reluctant to do something, and they have to be cajoled along. And then there are people who are committee members who are not as active as I would like them to be. And I also deal with people further up Toastmasters who want me to be more active. And the question is, why is it one isn't active? When people say to you, why haven't you done this? Or why are you late? What is your reply? And often the reply is silence. And that's my attitude. If somebody says to me, what have you done? I tend to retreat. Why haven't you done this? I won't want to admit what the problem is, because judges, and they're the people who say to you, why haven't you done this? Why is this late? They expect an answer, and you have to commit yourself. If you are familiar with Myers-Briggs personality typing, my type is ENFP. I'm an extrovert, so I like other people. I like to listen to other people. My husband says that I'm always giving advice. So he tells me I mustn't tell our son what to do, mustn't tell my daughter-in-law what to do. And you probably know yourself that you can tell children what to do, but you can't tell teenagers or other members of your family what to do. They might get irate. So it's a struggle for me to be a teacher at one moment and then to retreat back and not to tell other members of the family, do this, do that. Now, something else you may have heard, the famous saying by Freud is, what do women want? If only we knew. I'm so puzzled by this saying because most people tell you what they want. They tell you constantly. The word nagging is that somebody has told you to do something, but you haven't done it. My wife is always nagging me to do X. Why don't you take the rubbish out? Don't ask me again. You wouldn't have to be asked again if you'd done it the first time. And I think this is something you should remember in a marriage, and a Toastmasters relationship is a bit like a marriage. People are often telling you what they want done, but you're not listening. And I have this problem too. People say to me, oh, we need the program by next week, but I can't make a decision. I don't know what to do. And I'm afraid to ask and say, I don't know how to do it, because people say to me, oh, you're so technically inept. I'm not technically inept. I'm probably running at the same stage as everyone else of my background, my age, and being a woman and having my education, or being an extrovert, or any one of 100 things. But I'm always willing to listen to other people. And one thing I'm most successful at is my style of just listening to somebody. For example, an employee at an airport, I would say, is it busy today, or do you enjoy your job? And soon I find that they respond well. So my style is keep it simple and be friendly. And I'm trying not to advise you what to do and not to tell you that's what you should do. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. Your speech is wonderful. Your story is useful for us. And I believe that relation between wife and husband sometimes up and down, and sometimes simple, sometimes it's difficult. Thank you. The second speaker is John Duza. Before John speak, I will introduce evaluator. The evaluator is Lee Buckley. Lee Buckley have passionate Toastmaster from Sydney, also from Torres Toastmaster Club. Lee Buckley.
Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, the second speaker is Kanan Sankara.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I mistake the... Sorry, the second speaker is Kanan Sankara. Before Kanan Sankara speak, I will introduce the evaluator. The evaluator is Lee Buckley. Lee Buckley is come from Sydney. She has passion Toastmaster from Sydney and also from Torres Toastmaster Club. Lee Buckley, please introduce. Yeah, please speak about the objective from session Kanan.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. The purpose of Kanan's project is for him to practice selecting and using a variety of visual aids during a speech. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Kanan Sankara. His goal is to become a proficient speaker. He would like to speak without grammar mistake. Kanan Sankara, his title is Child Labor in India. Please speak on the stage. Kanan Sankara, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Madam Evaluator, for introducing me very well. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. When we go to a gas station where some person needs to fill, we are looking for some young kid to fill the gas station, to fill the gas in our car. Why? Because we want to save. We can tip that small kid a small amount and then we can leave because that kid will do the job perfectly. Fellow Toastmasters, even in working in construction industry, the contractors employ children. You know why? They can pay only 20%. The mentality of the people is to save money but exploit the children. It is not only in India, but I'm going to focus in India. But before that, I will give you overall statistics. According to the World Health Organization, they need $1 trillion over 30 years to eradicate the child labor. Nearly 1/5 of the children population are working. In the north, where the Pakistan, China, India border, the girls are working more than 8 hours per day for carpet weaving. When they become 10 or 11, they are moved to sex industry. I'm sorry to say that, but this is a fact. They are moved to Lahore, Bombay, Calcutta, and all the top cities in Bangkok, and they are moved there for the sex industry. You may think that, you may think that developing countries are better. In US and UK, the kids are used for sex offenses. And the British Prime Minister lately has sent a message saying that do not employ children. On this, for this speech, I'm going to focus on India because I thought that focusing in one area will be better. If you see that this photograph, it is self-explanatory. I will move this away. If you see that child labor, they are carrying big ton of this is for the construction industry. They are engaged because they need to pay only a portion of amount. They are having poverty. Mostly they are working as a slaves. If the parents needs to pay some money to a landlord, if they cannot pay, the children are taken as the slaves and they are asked to go through labor for more than 15 to 18 hours. They are only allowed to sleep. Poverty is the main reason. At this point of time, when I did 2 years, I think this is a statistics of 2017, maybe 3 years ago. There are 12.6 million child labor, and they are using building because they don't have to give the glasses or safety equipment. For the adults, they have to provide. The law says that any adult doing this job or need to be provided with the safety gears. They put any adult. So they are employing the kids to do the job by taking advantage of the loophole in the law. There is a cracker industry. China and India are the two places where the crackers are being built. There is one place in South India called Sivakasi. More than 100,000 children are working in these factories. There are no safety standards. And if the parents die in the accident, their children are forced to do that. They are pulled from the school and they have to do that. Every year, major accident, if the lawmakers close down a factory, immediately they open another factory in another name and continue the same thing. The offense, because think that the penalty was put in 1947, the penalty is $500. They pay the penalty $500 and then they start opening another factory and they are doing this. There is no rest for the kids, no education. It is really, you feel bad to see all those things. You may ask, Kanan, what is the reason behind it? The main reason, number one, is the poverty. Number two, bonded labor. Penalty is very light and they can escape from the law very easily. There is no problem at all. So they can do whatever they want. What is the government is doing? Government is making so many things. There are so many activities. There are free education, there are counseling, there are low interest loans. But the implementation of law is very difficult. And even though they ask for the late marriage so that the children can be produced less, but you know, China and India are the world, I think they contribute more than 1/3 of the population, I think. If you include China and India, that's it. They are the two countries which are very highly populated. Fellow Toastmasters, I want to close this speech by telling, please do not employ children for any of your needs. Let us keep our mentality very clear. Let us make sure we employ only adults. If possible, this is a Christmas time. We need to help somebody. If you can help some of the kids, you can provide him for the education, him or her with the education help, do that. Let us all make the future of these children a bright one. Let us all make sure that they are good. As the Bible says, do not give them the fish, teach them how to fish so that they can survive on their own. Fellow Toastmasters, giving education is good. Let us all help the children during this time. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kanan. Child labor is global problem. And as you say, don't recruit child as worker in your home, in your company. This message is very strong. Thank you. The next speaker is John Du Souza. Before John go to on the stage, I will invite evaluator Jennifer Lim. Jennifer Lim. She is known hot mama. Jennifer Lim, please introduce the objective of the speech from John.
Thank you. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice being aware of his or her thoughts and feelings, as well as the impact of his or her responses on others. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share his or her experience completing the project. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Jennifer Lim. Joan Do Souza. He is a mother of two awesome girls and very supportive husband. He is constantly looking for opportunities to push herself. John Douza, dynamic leadership level 3, increasing knowledge focus on positive. The title is Learning New Style. You have 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, John.
Can you hear me and see me? All right. President, fellow Toastmasters and guests, today I'm going to talk about an important subject. Mr. Kanan Sankara raised the topic of children, and our VPE has really posed an important theme for today, that is character building. So today I'm going to switch to another character level, and character level so that we can apply not only to our children, but to everyone and each one of us. We can gain and learn something from it and be a better person. Train! The bell is on and I am in my daughter's room. Rachel, get up. It is 7:15. It's time to go to school. Can I get another 5 minutes, please? Can I please get another 5 minutes? No, get up. I'm just fed up of listening to this bell. Each and every morning it keeps ringing and ringing and you don't wake up. You're so lazy. Second story. Rachel is back from school and I have her report card. Rachel, B in your German? Yes, Mom. I'm so sorry, B in my German. How did you get this B in my German? I worked really hard, Mom. But what's the problem? Verb conjugation? Article problem? What was the problem, Rachel? I need to pull my hair out. My friends, is the problem with Rachel or is the problem with me? Friends, the problem is with me. I have an issue. I am a very negative person. I can only see the negative qualities. I have a negative bias. May I take this liberty to say that each one of us, we have that to some extent? Unfortunately, we have inherited these qualities from our ancestors. Our ancestors who were constantly vigilant about looking for food, storing food, looking for predators. How will they come and attack us? And we got that negative bias from them. Not only that, but unfortunately, we also got this binary thinking. He's so serious. She is so lazy. She doesn't work. All these binary thinking. Either she's X or she is Y. But do you realize that there is also a gray area between X and Y? Unfortunately, we are in the 21st century and we still have those traits of selectively looking at all C's and B's like me, what I do with Rachel's grades, or even projecting our weaknesses on others or on our children. I can only see my child is so messy because inwardly I know that I am a messy person. So how about we don't do this anymore? Raise your hand if any one of you are a right-handed person. Raise your hand. I'm a right-handed person. How many of you are left-handed? See, I can see none of you are left-handed. But does that mean that our left-handed is a weak hand? Does that mean that just because our left-handed is not active as our right hand is, does that mean that we are very weak? No, we are not. We are not abnormal people just because we can't even write our name with left hand. We are all normal people. We are all worthy people. So how about next time I go ahead and look at not my Rachel's weaknesses of not being perseverant to get up in the morning or not working hard enough in her German, but I help her to improve her qualities. How about if I switch on, say, Rachel, you did fantastic by keeping your bell and alarm on each and every night so that you can get up in the morning. I want to focus on her perseverance. How about next time when I look at her report card and I say, Rachel, you've done so well. You worked hard. You put your best qualities. Why don't you apply your qualities of perseverance here and improve your German language? So again, my friends, it's all about looking at the best qualities. Let's use these qualities in our relationship. Let's use these qualities and look at all the positives of all our friends and our family and have another outlook. And back to you, Toastmasters of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. Yes, we need to looking for the best quality in our life. You say that we can see the positive side from problematic thing. Thank you. Timer, can you mention are participant qualified or not?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Ahmad. Well, I'm very pleased to announce that all the speakers have spoken within the time limit. The first speaker, Angela, spoke for 7 minutes, 30 seconds, just on the dot. And the second speaker, Kanan, spoke for 6 minutes, 38 seconds. And the last speaker, Joan, spoke for 5 minutes and 24 seconds. So everyone has qualified. So back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alicia. Please vote the best for everybody's speech. Thank you. Before we enter the next session, the last session, evaluator session, we break 10 minutes. Please drink your coffee. Take all your coffee and snack.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. We still have 4 persons who have not voted. Please kindly put in your vote. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome back, Toastmaster. Thank you for attend the segment, the last segment. This segment is evaluator segment. We have 3 evaluator will evaluate all speaker in the previous segment. The first evaluator is Thomas Chen. Thomas Chen is passionate Toastmaster, international trainer, and speaker. Thomas will evaluate Angela Lunsbury. Over to you, Thomas.
Amazing day, ladies and gentlemen, especially to Angela. Today, Angela is a movie director reenacting her communication experiences and stories to all of us. And just like the Harry Potter movie, it was magical and memorable. I will first start off by sharing why her speech was deserving of a Grammy Award. So to start off, Angela is a masterful storyteller. She gives us vivid descriptions about her communication experiences with her fellow Toastmasters as well as a family member. The expressions, the emotions, the experiences, they were all described to realism itself. So it was as if we were able to visualize and internalize what she had been through, and we are able to connect with her content on a more profound level. Secondly, she was able to deliver her content with clearness and clarity. There were minimum stammering and stuttering. She spoke in a resounding and refreshing voice, and her pace was comfortable and palatable for all of us. This allowed us to absorb and assimilate her information accurately and acutely. And with that, we know that she's not just a movie director, but she is DJ Angela. So now I would love to share with you some recommendations, Angela, so that you can be the Angela Jolie of public speaking. So firstly, Angela, I encourage you to design and deliver a call to action for the audience. Learning lessons that you want us to take action on. Is it to discover our communication style? Is it to embrace our identity? Or is it to use communication to connect with those around us? What is the call to action for us to take action on? Elaborate on that so that we will know what to do right away from your speech itself. Secondly, share with us how you have grown through this experience of yours, right? Just like how Harry Potter transformed from a young child to a powerful wizard he is. How have you transformed? Do you become the wizard of communication? Or do you build stronger relationship with those around you? Or did you become a more competent communicator? Share with us how you transform through this journey so that you will impact and inspire us to emulate you, because we want to transform just like you did. And finally, when you started speaking, you zoom right into your story itself. And I felt that we did not really know what to expect. So to ensure that you are able to deliver with crystal clear clarity, consider giving us a preview, like a movie trailer, so that we know what we are into for. So by doing so, we are able to follow through the sea of content, and we will understand that the direction you are heading to, so that we can absorb your message effectively. So in summary, congratulations, Angela. You are a masterful storyteller with a crystal clear delivery. Consider call to action, how you transform with your experience, and give us a preview. And I'm sure your speech will be powerful, impactful, and beautiful. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Thomas, for wonderful evaluation. The next evaluator is Lee Buckley. Lee Buckley is passionate Toastmaster from Sydney, also from Torres Toastmaster Club. Lee will evaluate Toastmaster John Souza. Please, Lee Buckley, over to you to evaluate Toastmaster John.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. I will be evaluating Toastmaster Kanan Sankara.
Oh.
Toastmaster Kanan, you painted a vivid picture of how children were taken advantage of in terms of employment. We heard the common mentality and stories of how kids were exploited in various industries, such as at petrol stations, construction sites, and even making firecrackers. And you provided such a good segue into talking about child labor in India. As this project is about using visual aids effectively, I would like to focus my evaluation in that area. People are either visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. I felt you used the PowerPoint as virtual background feature in Zoom very well. We were able to see you on the slides. You moved your picture around on the slides to suit where the images and the text were, instead of just appearing as a tiny video on top or at the side. Yeah, well done with that. You spoke clearly, and with the high quality images shown, you made us feel that we were there. We could see and we could feel the child labor, the children being exploited. Now, what I would like you to think of is visual aids are there to help us enhance our message. As I always say to my student, how to make your presentation from a distinction level to a high distinction level. Okay? I felt that there was too much information that you provided, that you've crammed into the 5 to 7 minutes, and I was lost in the sea of information provided. You moved from one segment or one key point to another, and then back to the other key point again. So what would be good is, as we often say in Toastmasters, focus on 3 key points. For example, why child labor happens, what actions the government can take, and what actions we can take individually. And then organize your speech around that, then use the visual aids to enhance your message. The other thing I would like to offer you as well is when it comes to visual aids, presentation slides, you should not have more than 5 bullet points per slide with maximum of 7 words per bullet point. Okay? And the other thing to look out for is to keep the font types and sizes consistent. And that would be very impactful in terms of us listening to you if we are auditory, us looking at the slides for visual people in the audience, and kinesthetic because we could hear, we could feel, and we could see your message. In summary, I would like you to consider, okay, as we say in Toastmasters, organize your speech into 3 key points and then use the visual aids to enhance your message, to deliver a more impactful message. If you're using visual aids, consider no more than 5 bullet points per slide with maximum 7 words per bullet points. Keep your font sizes and types consistent, and with a little tweak, you'll be on your way to a high distinction. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Lee Barkley, for evaluation, Mr. Shankara. I think the evaluation is useful. We can adapt not only Shankara, but we can adapt in our next session. And the last speaker, not speaker, the last evaluator is Jennifer Lim. Friends call her Hot Mama. She likes reading to increase her knowledge, singing to improve her vocal variety, and dancing to keep fit. Jennifer Lim will evaluate, it is right, John Souza. Please, Jennifer Lim, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening, Club President, fellow Toastmasters, and to you, especially Joan. I was intrigued by your title, Learning a New Style. It was interesting. I thought I could learn something as well. You did well when you gave example of how you spoke to your daughter, Rachel. Then you asked the audience if it was your daughter who had a problem or you who had a problem. I believe this is in terms of the leadership or the way you ask the question. You engage your audience well. At the same time, you ask, are you right-handed or left-handed? You engage them by asking this question. At the same time, you also mentioned it doesn't mean that if you're left-handed, you are abnormal. You qualify that. I applaud you. You have very good vocal variety. You change your tone when you spoke as yourself, as a mother, and then as your daughter who answered back. I would like to make some recommendation to you. When you stood up, okay, you seem to be quite far off. And I think your speaker may be far, and I had a little bit of problem listening. I had to turn on the volume of my speaker in order to hear you well. On the other hand, the camera that is on you seemed to be a bit high on, looking at the ceiling, sort of at an angle. So I find it a bit, you are not in the rectangle screen itself. So it's a bit at an angle like that, something like that. Well, sorry. Now, I would like you to look into that in order for you to look good in the camera. The other point that I would like to raise is the pace of your speech. I find it a bit too rushed, too fast. If you could slow down, that would be great. in summary, your speech is good, but I would like you to have a stronger call to action, because you mentioned something like learning a new style, but I don't really see what kind of style you're talking about. It would be good if you focus back onto the title of your speech, which is learning the new style. For example, you can say, the new style I've learned is to be positive in the way I ask the question. And that will also help me increase my relationship with friends. Back to the title itself. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Jennifer Lim. All evaluators have highlight the call to action in the speech. Thank you. And now please vote who is the best evaluator.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you.
Alicia, can you mention how long time consuming for all evaluator?
Yes, sure, Toastmaster of the day. Well, the evaluators, all three evaluators spoke very well. For the first evaluator, Thomas, he spoke for 3 minutes, 23 seconds. Next evaluator, Lee Buckley, spoke for 3 minutes, 3 seconds. And the last evaluator, Jennifer, spoke for 3 minutes, 38 seconds. So there's only one evaluator that spoke over time, and she has been disqualified. So nevertheless, the polling has been aired, and we still will allow voting. All the three evaluators has spoke very well.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Alicia. And we have grammarian. I invite Toastmaster John. Please speak your evaluator as grammarian. How many mistakes in all of the section? Over to you, John.
Okay. I'm not going to actually talk a lot about errors and mistakes, but I'm going to first start with applauding people. Today was a fantastic day because we had a fantastic topic on character building. And it was so well used in each and every topic that we had, including our table topics as well as in our speeches. So starting off with Willie, starting off with saying that we had so many quotes that we used today. For example, one perfect child, but every mother got it. Angela used that. And Thomas said about taking step out, and a lot of speeches, a lot of quotes. Willie also stated about leadership can be developed, character is inborn, but leadership. So very inspiring quotes and very inspiring messages were actually said and spoken today. So anyway, so what we can go ahead and I also want to also applaud people for using lot of personification and metaphors. So personification is where a figure of speech in which the attribution of a personal nature or human characteristic to something non-human. So you're actually attributing something which is human character to something which is non-human. So for example, Shazna used life moves on, time moves on. So life actually doesn't move. Life is actually something which is not human, but we say life is moving on and time is moving on. So it's life is a puzzle, which is again a personification, but life is also like a puzzle, which Shazna used, which is a simile. So you're actually comparing, and simile is something, a figure of speech that directly compares two things. For example, life is like a box of chocolate. And we also learn from so many personifications, right? For example, stepping in, stepping out. Thomas said, you have to step out of your comfort zone, voice what is right. So, again, you're using a personification. What is right? Voice, what is right? Voice it out, or voice out your mind. Mind doesn't speak actually, but you're voicing out mind. So voice your opinion, So these are all personification, actually attributing personal nature, human characteristic to something which is non-human. And also, uh, uh, excellent, like Kannan also used, don't give them fish, but teach them how to fish. So that was another fantastic quote which was used by Kannan. And I also have to say that Kannan used my word of the day, mentality. So thank you so much, Kannan, for using the word of the day, mentality. To also kind of call about past some errors in grammar, very few. Someone said that, for example, they are having poverty. It's not actually have poverty. They are poor. So that is, something small errors, but rest everyone did fine. And so applauding everyone for giving us so many inspiring speeches and great evaluation and awesome speech.
Finish?
Yes, thank you. Back to you, Toastmasters of the day. Sorry. Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster John, for evaluation our grammar. As non-native speaker, sometimes I thought that grammar is difficult. I learned from my child. She can learn without thinking, without understanding on grammar, because they just listen, repeat, listen, and repeat. Thank you. Finally, I announce the winner of the 3 section. The best table topic speaker is Thomas Chan. And the best F speaker is Kanan Sankara. And the best evaluator is Lee Buckley. Congratulations for all the best. Then speak. Before we close the meeting, I invite you to give feedback. Maybe I invite who is Kwan Hong Tan. Are you there?
Hi, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Okay.
Fantastic job hosting the entire show today. I really enjoyed the meeting, and more importantly, I enjoyed all the speeches and evaluations today. I think they were fantastic, and everyone spoke from their hearts. So I learned a lot, and thank you for having me here.
Kwan Hong, you should become
yes,
our member. Be a member of our club. We're looking forward to welcome you as a member.
We can learn from the champion.
Yes. We want to learn from you.
No, it's okay. I'm history. A long time ago.
Thank
you.
you.
Better speakers upcoming and fantastic speakers. Thomas is one of them.
Okay.
Buckley is also very good, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Enough. Thank you, Toastmaster Kwan.
Yeah.
And now we will listen the closing speech from our President, Willie Low. Please, Mr. President.
Thanks for attending the meeting. I end this meeting by giving a quote for Benjamin Franklin. Trust, China, and reputation are easier cracked and never wear a man. Use these quotes to think what does character means to you. Thank you and have a nice. We see you on Christmas Day. Thank you. Good night, everyone.